What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's reaction video is what happens if Yellowstone Volcano erupts.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I think we did a video on this a long time ago. It is a brutal volcano.
Yeah, I feel like we mentioned at the time that would make me a bit scared to go.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, we do want to do Yellowstone one day. We are going to America. We're not doing Yellowstone on this trip. We will do it eventually. I think when Archer's a bit older, because these national parks are just miles out the way, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's just a lot of travelling to get to when you're already in the States. And with a 6-month-year-old, it will be quite difficult. But in the future, we'll definitely do it because it seems awesome. Let's hope it doesn't erupt while we're in the US, because this is something which is going to affect the whole of the US, even the whole world.
Yeah.
Obviously, the video's going to go into more detail. Smash that button, guys. Smash that subscribe button. Let us know in the comments below what videos you want us to check out. Hope you enjoy the content. A bit slower than usual. We explained that in our last few videos, haven't we, with Archie teething and stuff like that. But by the time we get to February, we should be more consistent. And then May, June time, hopefully a lot of USA videos.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get into it. What happens if Yellowstone Volcano erupts? If it does erupt, you may not have any videos in May, June now.
Yellowstone National Park is a huge recreational area in the United States that covers almost 9,000 square kilometers.
It is massive.
Most of Yellowstone lies in Wyoming, and it also stretches into neighboring states, Montana and Idaho. The world's oldest national park is renowned for its incredible natural beauty that includes canyons, alpine rivers, hot springs, as well as hundreds of species of animals. Yellowstone also sits atop a massive volcano. So big, in fact, that it's officially known as a supervolcano. This supervolcano is roughly 50 by 70 kilometers wide, and is last thought to have erupted some 640,000 years ago. However, what has some people nervous is the prospect that it will most likely erupt again. And if Yellowstone erupts, the damage caused could be catastrophic. A supervolcano differs from an ordinary volcano in the sheer force and ferocity of its eruption. The term is applied to any volcano that is thought to be capable of ejecting more than 1,000 cubic kilometers of volcanic rock and ash. To give you an idea, that's about 50 times greater than the Krakatau eruption in Indonesia. The 1883 Krakatau eruption killed over 36,000 people, which was largely due to the ensuing tsunamis that hammered the Japanese coastline.
Yeah, but I mean, at least he paused. Yes, we got an ad. But the tsunamis were brutal.
Yeah.
Which again, I heard something about tsunamis recently. A bit scared in Japan, so I hope everything's okay. On that front, I don't really know what it was. So if that is going on, I hope everything's okay. But 50 times bigger than 36,000.
Yeah.
So I mean, well, we might as well let this run. But it is just mental, isn't it?
Yeah.
And scary.
Yeah.
I guess. There you go. A bit of free advertising for this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
The Yellowstone eruption would not only prove to be immediately deadly to anyone in the vicinity, but the aftermath could have dire consequences for not just North America, but for the rest of the world. But first of all, how likely is it to erupt? It's already erupted 3 times. 2.1 million years ago, then 1.3 million years ago, and the most recent was around 640,000 years ago. While these dates may seem very, very far back and almost too far back to comprehend and take seriously, geologists are convinced that one day Yellowstone will produce another massive blast. Currently, the national park sits atop of 3 overlapping calderas. Caldera is the Spanish word for cauldron. And they're a kind of bowl-shaped depression in the earth, caused by previous eruptions. When a supervolcano erupts, the amount of molten lava and rock emitted is so vast that the ground holding it simply collapses into itself, creating a caldera. There are several of these calderas scattered throughout the world, in both North and South America, New Zealand, Russia, and Indonesia. These previous eruptions provide scientists with clues as to what might happen should Yellowstone erupt again. The Yellowstone supervolcano eruption would go something like this. A plume of heat would rise up from deep within the Earth's mantle, melting rocks in the Earth's crust, which lies above the mantle, closer to the surface. These hot, molten rocks are also known as magma. The magma forms a chamber of semi-solid rock, water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide, and other gases. As additional magma is added to the chamber over thousands of years, the land above would then begin to rise ever so slowly. This effect will be a gradual dome shape that's created inch by inch by growing pressure from magma beneath the surface. Cracks and fractures then start to appear when the volatile mix of molten rocks and gases can no longer be contained. They simply burst to the surface in an almighty explosion. Geologists have compared this eruption to opening a bottle of cola after shaking it vigorously. It's important to note, however, that at the moment, the crust and mantle beneath Yellowstone are still basically solid. While they're certainly hot, they are yet to form into the liquid magma, which is the catalyst for eruptions.
Okay.
Scientists
so,
figured that the underlying chambers would have to be at least 50% magma for an eruption to take place. Of course, this is just guessing, as no supervolcano has erupted in the history of humans.
yeah, no supervolcanoes erupted, like I said, so it is all a bit of guesswork. But how can you tell if that's 50%?
I guess not.
Because
I guess no one knows under the ground. Doesn't
underground, how do you know if it's near 50% or not? And I guess it's dangerous to get closer. Again, let us know in the comments. There may be a scientific or technical, logical way to find out. Maybe like some sensors going down. I don't know, but let us know. Because if it is near 50%, that's when you start thinking, it might be soon. You know.
To take place. Of course, this is just guessing, as no supervolcano has erupted in the history of humans on Earth. If things were to change, though, and the amount of magma increased, the situation could get fairly ugly. The predicted consequences of such a massive eruption are devastating. For starters, anyone living in close proximity to the blast will be lucky to survive. This means at least 100,000 people could be killed by the initial explosion.
That is scary.
The volcanic lava flows wouldn't pose too much of a problem, as scientists have gauged previous eruptions at Yellowstone to determine that lava spreads only reach several kilometers from the center. What is concerning, though, is the ensuing ash clouds and gas emissions that would severely affect the people, animals, and the environment. Lake Toba in Indonesia is one of the world's largest calderas and is thought to have been created from a colossal eruption some 74,000 years ago. The Mount Toba eruption propelled so much ash into the stratosphere that it created a catastrophic volcanic winter. This volcanic winter lasted for 6 years, leading to a 1,000-year-long ice age that severely decimated the global human population. It's estimated that this ice age reduced the world population.
That is mad.
That is crazy.
Nothing we can do about this. We don't know when it's going to happen. And the last one, which is a similar thing, created a 6-year volcanic winter.
Is
that not mental?
It's crazy.
That, like, when you actually think about that, it's absolutely mad, scary as well. I mean, at the end of the day, you've just got to live life. If you don't know whether it's going to happen or not, and you just got to get on with it. But when you actually deep it, 6-year volcanic winter.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Created the ice age. That could happen tomorrow. Obviously,
it's not highly unlikely, but
there hasn't been any earthquakes, but you never know. You actually never know, because it is just a natural thing. Like a tornado could just randomly happen. Obviously, you get the perfect ingredients. You get your 50% in the volcano. It sounds like, I suppose, you get a bit of seismic activity and stuff like that, so you kind of have a bit of an idea, but it could just happen.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
That's mad. That is mental.
Population to around 10,000 people. Volcanic ash showers from Yellowstone would spread throughout the American Northwest and Midwest regions. Scientists have projected that areas being affected by ash clouds could even stretch as far as Toronto, to the northeast, and Austin, Texas to the southeast.
Wow.
These showers would
The
prove
US
to be
is
highly
huge.
dangerous, potentially killing many more people and animals. Volcanic ash isn't the soft, flaky substance we might think of like remnants of a campfire. Instead, volcanic ash is hard and sharp, almost like tiny shards of glass. When breathed in, it cuts the lungs and it forms a cement-type substance in the body, making it deadly for humans and animals alike. This ash would also seriously interfere with the mechanisms of planes and automobiles coming into contact with it. The ash clouds would almost certainly affect large areas of the American North and Midwest, with rivers, lakes, and streams being clogged up with ash deposits from the sky. And that's just the beginning of the potential ecological damage. The ash clouds from Yellowstone supervolcano would threaten to block out sunlight over much of North America. This would not only lower temperatures, but would understandably have a dire effect on agriculture and food supplies.
Yeah.
The ash and various gases emitted by the Yellowstone eruption would remain in the stratosphere for months after, and possibly even years. This would block out crucial energy and light from the sun that would result in lower temperatures and diminished levels of crops and agricultural produce. At worst, it might lead to mass food shortages and even famine, with the economic and environmental impact being felt around the world. It would make a significant part of North America uninhabitable, with homes destroyed, water supplies contaminated, and crops and livestock left to perish.
That's mad.
Serious stuff indeed. If all this sounds apocalyptic, don't worry. It's very much the most dramatic, worst-case scenario we could kind of envision. Experts have been quick to point out to anyone raising the alarm that any signs of volcanic activity at Yellowstone will be well telegraphed in advance.
Okay.
Nevertheless, geologists have pinpointed a giant flume of hot rock lying deep in the Earth's mantle. This hot rock is roughly 640 kilometers below the Earth's surface, and it serves to melt rock in the upper chambers, creating small pools of magma. As more magma builds up, the Yellowstone surface heaves upwards. Small earthquakes can relieve this pressure by allowing hydrothermal liquids to seep out, causing the ground to subside. Scientists have noted that since 2004, more and more of Yellowstone caldera has been surging upwards at a rate of almost 3 inches per year.
Okay.
which leads experts to predict that when it comes to a Yellowstone eruption, it's a question of when, not if. Optimists suggest
when.
a small-scale eruption similar to that at Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines. That might be in the cards. The Mount Pinatubo eruption in 1991 killed 800 people and caused over $200 million in property damage. Planes flying near the region after this eruption encountered severe ash clouds that caused a further $100 million in damages.
Wow.
The Mount Pinatubo eruption could be seen as... it could have been a lot far worse, basically. Experts had been tracking volcanic activity, paying special attention to a growing series of mini-earthquakes that signaled a burgeoning buildup of magma near the Earth's surface.
Okay.
Yellowstone is being closely monitored as well,
I can
and many
imagine.
believe that minor earthquakes or hydrothermal explosions are greater hazards. The national park is additionally home to the world's tallest geyser, which is a hot spring that shoots off boiling water and steam into the sky intermittently.
That's
However,
mad.
the threat of earthquakes in
man-made.
this
Yeah,
highly
that's natural.
seismic area is probably the most likely danger to concern ourselves with. The sensational image of a volcano erupting captures our imagination. We think of people in Pompeii dashing to escape deadly seas of lava and towns being buried under volcanic rock. The reality, though, is that volcanic eruptions bring a range of other threats that are much more dangerous than lava flows. Earthquakes, tsunamis, ash clouds, and gas inhalation are the very real dangers brought about by an eruption. As for Yellowstone, things are largely unknown. Will it erupt again? Almost definitely. Will it happen during our lifetimes? Who knows? But we can rest assured, if it does erupt on our watch, we'll be ready for it.
Interesting.
Interesting, scary. Like I say, that is worst case, and probably not in our lifetime.
Hopefully not.
And hopefully it's thousands and thousands of years down the line, 'cause it's not if and when. And when it is, I guess there is a chance it's a small scale one,
Yeah, it could be. But
and then hopefully it resets. But you never know at the end of the day.
it's a super volcano at the end of the day.
It is, exactly. And the worst case, yes, it is a worst case, but it's possible,
Yeah.
which is scary. But let us know what you guys think on that in the comments below. I just hope it doesn't happen on our trip,
Yeah,
because
no.
it reaches often.
Not being
and
selfish.
we will be there
but I
often
hope
at some
so.
point.
Not.
But
It took out California as well.
yeah, and you guys may not get videos of our trip then if that was the case. That sounds very selfish, because a
That
lot
does.
more damage. I'm only joking. But we want you legends to see our trip, and we're super excited. Like I say, touch wood, it doesn't happen in a very, very, very long time. And if it does, it's a tiny, small scale, and everyone's sound. What should we do?
Have a fantastic day.
Smash that button, smash the subscribe button. The world is scary, and nature, I guess, is scary, isn't it? That's our lesson learned today, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.